like I said, I mean, I said that I was going to address some things. I was talking to my cousin, because, we've been talking about this for the past, what, month or so, however long I've been here, that there's some things that need to be addressed, man. We've been talking, so, to let you know, if there's somebody that actually went through the things that I'm talking about when it comes to spiritual manipulation, we're going to get deep into the spiritual manipulation, like I said, but what we're going to talk about is spiritual manipulation, the childhood exposed. We talking about the little child being exposed. So my cousin is here. He got some questions. We want to dialogue it. And hopefully, man, y'all can jump in on in, and we'll try to address as many of the questions that we can. So, cuz, man, what's up, man?
My question was, like, why do we hate each other so much?
See, the thing that when we open up the debate about why we hate each other so much, there was no dialogue to where you even acknowledge that I hated myself. But because I can only look at myself as, as an example, my hatred went through a process that, man, that there is no dialogue, there is no platform for us to talk about these type of things. Now, I'm going to say some things that make people feel uncomfortable, but it shouldn't. We're talking about truth. So, my hatred started when I was in a situation as a child. And trust me, my mother and my father, they was there. My father, man, he worked. He did the flower thing, chases over the house and all of that. I'm going to tell you something. You can still have a mother and a father, and you're not protected in this society. So that's an disclaimer to my mother and my father, because you always got to honor your mother and father, whether they do things you don't like or whatever. I'm in an environment, man, to whereas the spiritual manipulation in a child being exposed to where there are people that have been exposed to things by people in their family. So I went through a situation where a neighbor, an older neighbor, I was 5 at the time, thought that it was okay, to basically coerce me to put his penis in my mouth at 5 years old. Through some Reese's Pieces, man. It was crazy. At 5 years old, you do not have the mental capacity, the emotional wherewithal, nor the spiritual consciousness to deal with that. But in this sad society, the things that really affect us, they taboo. We can't talk about it. Yahweh is not that way. Let's look at this. If Yahweh sees us openly in everything that we do, how did it get to the point that we had to hide our shame? It was never shame, because people do things to people. But having that ability to address that question, how did we get to the point that we hated each other? It sparks another question, right?
They were compromised.
In what way, though?
In society.
So if we're compromised through society, and we know that Yahweh plays, the grandest of roles in our reality, who are we serving for real? Are we serving this society to where these things happen to kids? Are we serving, and let's look at this, man. Let's really take a look at this and how demonic society has become. We can say we desensitized, we can say that we are manipulated, but the reality is that at some point in time, we have to acknowledge everything that is going on to where I will do this to myself.
But
I hate me.
people they don't want that feeling. They don't understand it because either they're afraid to speak out or they're afraid to hold it in themselves. Because people take the guilt, of what they know what's really going on. They don't want to pay attention to because they want to live a puppet life to where they're hidden from all that. They don't want to speak the truth because they're afraid.
And that's like I said, through that experience, going through that experience, I try to find normalcy. I started pretending to be, people in school, dudes around my way. I didn't know how to deal with that. I became anything that could help me to not think about that. Here's that fear you talking about. Because something happened to me And it was, oh man, it was extreme. I mean, I remember trying to tell my mother, man, about that stuff, and it came out all wrong. I mean, it came out weird. I didn't know how to go, hey, Mom, guess what happened to me today? I was hanging over so-and-so's house, and this is what he did to me. Yada, 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 woo, woo, woo. Man, I ain't know how to talk about that stuff. So when that type of trauma hit me, of course, I suppressed it. I was a fat boy. They called me Fat Boy. That was my name. I mean, my mama would never tell you. I was Fat Boy. I stopped eating. That was one of the expressions that I gave to let you know, hello, something is wrong with me. I'm not eating no more. The Reese's Pieces, you know, the traumatic experience of that, I stopped eating sweets because that was the manipulation that was brought my way.
I believe that they know it's easy to manipulate children up to adulthood because it's just like a gateway. It's easier for the devil to come into a child than it is an adult that has knowledge and intelligence. So they know it's easy to manipulate a child, and they will go after that first before an adult.
That's why the system society is a failure, because we have found it acceptable to not look at the root issue of these brothers that are in jail, because they are without their children. You know, they looking at these children and seeing the symptoms of violence. They seeing the symptoms of, you know, promiscuity, sexual promiscuity. We seeing the symptoms of, I mean, just, you know, out there, guys walking around, you know, a culture of, you know, my pants, the swag stuff. I mean, come on now. We're embracing everything that is self-destructive to us, not just as a people or culture, but as humans on planet Earth. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about a system that creates division but not unity. And it literally doesn't. And there is no platform of discussion that addresses this. Right. They talking about Trayvon Martin. I'm talking about, man, brothers that been dying since the day I was born. You know, to whereas, yeah, I'm going to feel a little something for Trayvon too. I'm not going to go into the argument about, well, what about that? No. The thing is this, that it's systematic. It's a systematic destruction that people don't want to talk about. They want to ignore it because of that fear that you brought up. So I have fooled myself for so long. See, some of us go through some situations that may not appear, you know, to spiritual norms. Adversity, our brother Yanis, or what they call James, made it clear, man, that you have to go through some adversity to come to some understanding. So I went through what I went through. It came out the wrong way. I became violent. I started doing, you know, other stuff. It led me to jail. I went to jail. Within jail, I met Yahshua. I wasn't out here fighting the holy mission. So it's a cause and effect to everything. The thing is, the problem in spiritual manipulation and the child being exposed or exploited is that we don't even acknowledge that there is an issue. As soon as you start talking about that type of stuff, you know what your family gonna do, your church or assembly gonna do. They will attack you because what? They are still afraid. You're not afraid anymore. You got in touch with Yahshua. Yahshua said, I got your back. Right or wrong, I got your back. We don't know how to love each other that way because what did we start off with? Why? The question was, why do we hate each other? It's not that we hate each other. We hate ourselves. We hate the shame. We hate the resentment. We hate the contentment that we have suppressed within ourselves. And this is the energy that it's making. The devil in the door. The devil in the door. Knock, knock. Who is it? The devil. What you want? A pie. What kind? An apple pie. The person that was the apple pie will run around the building. The devil will chase them. Why are we playing them games? So yeah, we hate ourselves, and it's automatic that we want to hate each other. That's why love is so hard to be manifested amongst us all, because we're all children of Yahweh and don't want to submit to these childhood, I mean, not submit, but to acknowledge them, not to blame, but to acknowledge them, to shine the light on an area in our society that tells our sisters to protect their modesty, but not, man, putting on these, these shows for the devil. This ain't thus saith Ty. This is thus saith the Most High. So, as if I've always done, I want to make sure that we continue on this same path, that we're going to go deeper, even deeper into this childhood or child being exploited. I will be back with y'all, and there's going to be some more questions. And I mean, like I said, I'm going to post these, and we can address them and, man, open up the dialogue. We see what's going on. Ain't no need of sitting around. Let's connect this energy. Let's connect this energy, man. Y'all will bless you, man. Y'all will keep you, man. He have his face to shine upon you and give us the peace. We need that peace, brothers and sisters. Y'all will bless.